Welcome to the deep dive.
where we sift through your source materials.
Right, all those articles, notes, that raw information.
And we pull out the key insights you need right away.
Yeah, today we're diving into something that, well, it's part of everyday conversation, but it's got these hidden depths, you know?
Absolutely. We're talking about language, specifically those tricky idiomatic expressions.
Mm-hmm. The ones where the words together mean something totally different than the words apart.
Exactly. And our mission today isn't just defining them.
No.
It's about understanding how they work in real conversations, how they signal emotion, how they act as shortcuts.
Getting past that literal translation stage to, like, actual fluency.
That's the goal, moving beyond the textbook into real human interaction.
And the source material we have today is perfect for this, actually.
It really is. It's built around a very relatable, kind of simple scenario.
Yeah, a son, Ted, trying to head out the door to see his girlfriend.
And his mother, Susan, who has, well, she has some questions.
And maybe a few opinions.
Definitely some opinions. And she uses language in a really interesting way to convey them.
So the sources give us this short dialogue, this little exchange.
Right, packed with these idioms. And then definitions and examples for 12 key phrases that come up.
And our job is to untack that.
Yeah.
Use this little family moment, this Ted and Susan dynamic.
As a lens, yeah, to see why these phrases exist, what feelings they carry.
And why getting a handle on them is so crucial for really speaking English, not just knowing vocabulary.
It's the difference between basic comprehension and conversational nuance.
So let's set that scene properly. Ted wants out. He's going to see Amber, his girlfriend.
He seems maybe a little vague, a bit keen to leave.
And Susan, his mom, she's concerned. She's gathering intel.
And her language. It's subtle, but it's loaded. It's a masterclass in coded communication.
This short exchange is going to teach us a lot about uncertainty, sadness, preference.
Enjoyment, worry. It's all in there.
Okay, let's jump into that initial exchange then. Ted's making his move for the door.
Right, so Ted comes in, probably trying to make it quick.
And Susan's right there. First question's implied. But Ted offers the first bit of info. He says, I told Amber I'd drop by.
Okay, idiom number 1, right off the bat, to drop by.
What does that signal immediately?
It signals brevity, casualness. It means a short visit, often without much prior planning, maybe even unannounced, traditionally.
Right. It's not a formal visit. It lowers the expectation.
Yeah.
If you're just dropping by, you're not staying for dinner, probably.
Exactly. It implies it's maybe on the way somewhere else or just a quick check-in. It's convenient, not the main event.
The linguistic equivalent of just popping your head around the door, almost.
Precisely. And that lack of major commitment comes through in the first example the sources give.
Which is?
If we have time before the movie, let's drop by Bill's house.
See? It's conditional. Secondary to the movie. Only if there's time.
It underlines that casual secondary nature.
Now, you mentioned unannounced. Does that still hold true, you think, in our world of constant texting?
That's a really good point. I think the meaning has adapted slightly.
How so?
While it can still mean totally unannounced, more often now it probably implies, a quick text like, hey, in your area, mind if I drop by?
Okay, so the warning might be there, but the core meaning of brief and casual remains.
Yes, exactly. The lack of formality and the short duration are key. The second example reinforces this. Hey, I was in the neighborhood, so I thought I'd drop by.
Pure convenience. A detour, not a destination.
So Ted's already setting a tone of, perhaps, non-committal plans.
Susan picks up on this vagueness. She asks the logical follow-up. What are you two going to do?
And Ted's answer, peak ambiguity.
He says, maybe go to the movies or to a party. Our plans are still up in the air.
Our second idiom. And what a great visual metaphor, up in the air.
You instantly get it, don't you? Floating, undecided, not landed yet.
It means plans aren't finalized. They're uncertain, unsettled, just drifting.
It's not canceled, importantly, just pending, like a plane circling the airport.
Right, and the power of this idiom is how it works for situations big and small. The sources show this perfectly.
Example 1.
Low stakes, weather dependent. It might rain later, so our plans for the picnic are up in the air.
Okay, simple uncertainty caused by an external factor.
Now compare that to the second example. Much higher stakes.
Which is?
Our trip to Russia is up in the air. We aren't sure we'll get our visas in time.
Wow, okay. So picnic sandwiches or international travel bureaucracy.
The state of uncertainty is captured by the exact same phrase, up in the air. The idiom just describes the lack of decision, whatever the cause or consequence.
It's a fantastic tool for deflection too, isn't it?
Absolutely. Ted uses it here to say, I don't know yet, without actually having to explain why he doesn't know, or that maybe he just hasn't bothered to confirm with Amber.
It's a neat conversational shield, as you called it earlier.
Definitely.
So Susan, ever the strategist, tries to regain some control, offers the alternative. Why don't you invite her over here?
The classic parental move. Keep them under your roof where you can supervise or at least be aware.
But Ted wants none of it. He rejects it immediately.
And he gives 2 reasons, introducing 2 more key phrases for us.
He says, I don't want to hang around here. Reason 1.
And reason 2, Dad is really down in the dumps.
Okay, let's tackle the emotional state first. Dad being down in the dumps.
This is such a common expression for sadness or feeling depressed. It's emotional shorthand.
It signals a negative mood, low spirits.
Yeah, and again, the sources show a fascinating range in what this can actually mean in terms of intensity.
Example 1 is quite serious.
Very. It's not surprising that Lisa is down in the dumps. Pause, the cat she had for 20 years just died.
Okay, that's significant loss. Understandable grief, deep sadness.
Right. But then look at example 2.
It's easy to feel down in the dumps when it's raining outside.
That's different. That's temporary moodiness, maybe just feeling a bit blue or lethargic because the weather's bad.
So the phrase itself doesn't tell you the depth of the sadness, just the presence of it.
Exactly. When Ted says his dad is down in the dumps, we know the vibe at home is negative, depressing, maybe heavy.
But we don't know if Dad lost his job or just, stubbed his toe.
Well, maybe not stubbed his toe, but you get the idea. The effect on the atmosphere is the key thing for Ted. It's unpleasant.
And because it's unpleasant, Ted declares he doesn't want to hang around.
And this brings us to a really important distinction, especially for learners. To hang around.
How is this different from just being somewhere?
It implies spending time idly, lingering. Often there's a connotation of waiting aimlessly or being somewhere you're not necessarily wanted or where there's nothing productive to do.
Okay, so it's not just spending time. It's often wasting time or loitering.
Precisely. It often carries a slightly negative weight. We need to contrast this later with hang out.
Right. Let's look at the examples for hang around first.
Example 1. Pure forced idleness. We had to hang around the airport for an extra 6 hours because our flight was delayed.
Ugh. Definitely unwanted lingering. You're stuck, wasting time.
You didn't choose it. And example 2 shows the unwanted presence angle. Nina's boyfriend Boris is coming over soon. She hopes her parents aren't planning on hanging around the house.
Okay. The parents aren't doing anything wrong, maybe, but their lingering presence is unwelcome. They're in the way.
They're just there, idly, getting underfoot from Nina's perspective.
So when Ted says he doesn't want to hang around, he means he doesn't want to be stuck lingering idly in this depressing, down-in-the-dumps atmosphere at home.
Exactly. It's a defensive explanation for why he needs to leave.
Okay, that sets the scene perfectly. We've got Ted's vague plans, drop by up in the air, and his reason for escape. Dad's down in the dumps, doesn't want to hang around.
Which leads us directly into the core conflict. Susan's subtle and maybe not so subtle judgment about Amber herself.
Yeah, this is where the emotional temperature really rises. Susan finally asks the question that reveals her reservations.
She goes, is Amber the girl with the nose ring and the purple hair?
Oh, the loaded question. You can just feel the disapproval dripping off it.
Absolutely. She's not asking for confirmation. She's stating her observation, and the tone implies judgment.
But Ted's reaction is fascinating. He completely bypasses the implied criticism.
Ignores the nose ring, ignores the purple hair. He just owns it with pure enthusiasm.
He says, yeah, I'm crazy about her.
Boom. Our next idiom, to be crazy about someone or something.
This isn't mild liking, is it?
Not at all. This is high level. It means to like very much, intensely. It suggests real passion, deep interest, strong affection.
Almost bordering on obsession, maybe, but in a good way.
Often, yeah. It conveys that level of engagement. The examples show it applies to both things and people.
Example 1 is about a hobby.
Right. Amy is so crazy about golf she'd like to play every day. That's dedication. It consumes her thoughts.
And example 2 is romantic.
I'm sure Katie will agree to go out on a date with Sam. She's crazy about him. Suggests strong romantic feelings, infatuation even.
So Ted is signaling that his feelings for Amber are intense, powerful enough to overlook superficial things like, well, nose rings and purple hair.
He's putting his emotional cards on the table. Big enthusiasm.
Now, how does Susan respond to this declaration? She can't just agree, given her initial question.
No, and she can't flat out say, I disapprove, without risking a major argument. She needs diplomacy or perhaps passive aggression.
Enter the idiom.
Enter the perfect tool for polite disapproval. She's not exactly my cup of tea.
Okay, this one is huge. Cup of tea. What's the core meaning?
It refers to the type of person or thing that someone generally likes or finds appealing. Your preference, basically.
The kicker here, the really crucial part the sources emphasize,
is that it's almost always used in the negative.
Right. You almost never hear, oh, action movies are totally my cup of tea.
Yeah.
It sounds weird. Stilted.
It does. The phrase's power lies in the negative construction. He, she, it is not my cup of tea.
So it becomes a way to say, I don't like this, without directly attacking it.
Exactly. It frames the dislike as a matter of personal taste, which is subjective and hard to argue with. It's a soft rejection.
It's like saying, it's not you, it's me,
Mm-hmm.
and my specific preferences.
Precisely. Amber might be great, Ted, but she just doesn't fit my particular taste profile. The purple hair isn't the problem, it's just not her cup of tea.
The examples nail this down. Example 1. Hobbies.
Hockey isn't Alan's cup of tea. He prefers soccer. Simple statement of preference. No judgment on hockey itself.
And example 2, directly relevant to Susan's usage. Personality.
I know Joy is nice, but she's simply not my cup of tea.
It acknowledges potential good qualities. Joy is nice, but still dismisses her based on this intangible taste.
Susan is doing exactly that with Amber. She's implicitly saying, she might be fine for you, Ted, but she's not the sort I would choose or connect with.
It's quite masterful in a way. Delivers the negative message clearly, but with plausible deniability.
But even phrased softly, criticizing your son's girlfriend is risky territory.
Ted might still get defensive.
So Susan immediately deploys a verbal shield. Right after, not my cup of tea, she adds, don't take this the wrong way.
Ah, the classic disclaimer. What does to take something the wrong way mean?
It means to take offense, to misinterpret someone's intended meaning as criticism or insult when supposedly none was intended.
Right. So the phrase, don't take this the wrong way, but, is basically a warning. I'm about to say something potentially offensive, but please pretend I mean well.
It's a preemptive strike against the listener's potential negative reaction. You're trying to manage their interpretation before they even process the criticism.
It signals awareness that the comment is delicate.
Definitely. Let's look at the examples where this kind of defense is needed. Example 1.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I liked your hair better before you got a cut.
Ouch. Criticizing personal appearance, especially a recent choice like a haircut, highly sensitive. You absolutely need that softener.
And the second one is even touchier.
Jessica is offended. I guess she took it the wrong way when I told her she should exercise more.
Yikes. Yeah, unsolicited advice about weight or health. That's almost guaranteed to be taken the wrong way unless handled with extreme care.
And in that example, the speaker failed. Jessica did take it the wrong way. Susan is trying to avoid that outcome with Ted by using the disclaimer up front.
So the sequence is, deliver the veiled criticism, not my cup of tea, then immediately cushion the blow and deflect offense. Don't take this the wrong way.
A textbook example of navigating tricky social waters with idioms.
Ted, however, seems determined to de-escalate. He doesn't bite.
No, he tries to reassure her it's not that serious. He says, we're not about to get married. We just enjoy hanging out together.
Okay, now we get the contrast we talked about earlier. Hang around versus hang out.
Exactly. We said hang around was often negative, idle, unwanted lingering.
So what's hang out?
To hang out means to spend time together casually, often without a specific plan, just enjoying each other's company. It's relaxed, intentional, social time.
It's the positive counterpart. It's choosing to spend unstructured time together because you enjoy it.
Precisely. The source examples clarify this. Example 1. Ted spent all of last summer hanging out by his friend's pool.
Relaxed, enjoyable, no specific goal other than being there.
And the sources make an important grammatical note, too.
Which is?
The difference between just hanging out, spending time generally, and hanging out with someone, keeping company. Example 2 uses the general form. Kathy and her friends like to hang out at the mall.
So Ted is framing his relationship with Amber as casual companionship. We just hang out. Nothing too serious, Mom. Don't worry about the purple hair impacting wedding photos.
It's another deflection, minimizing the significance to counter Susan's implied judgment.
Susan seems to realize she's pushed as far as she can on the appropriateness angle.
She reaches a point of, well, philosophical resignation.
She concedes defeat in the battle of preferences with a final classic idiom.
She sighs, metaphorically or perhaps literally, and says, I guess there's no accounting for taste.
The ultimate shutdown for any argument about likes and dislikes. What does it mean?
It means it's impossible to explain why people like the things they like. Preferences are subjective, often irrational, and therefore you can't logically argue about them. The discussion is over.
It's the verbal equivalent of throwing your hands up in the air about someone else's choices.
Exactly. And the examples provided are brilliant because they showcase truly unique tastes.
Example 1 is about food.
Ted likes to put sugar on his spaghetti. I guess there's no accounting for taste.
Okay, weird. Maybe a bit gross to many, but harmless.
But then example 2 escalates things significantly.
Tiffany has a tattoo of a squirrel on her leg. There's no accounting for taste.
Right. From odd food choices to permanent, possibly questionable body art. The phrase covers the spectrum of bewildering preferences.
So Susan is essentially putting Ted's choice of amber, with her nonconformist style, in the same category as sugared spaghetti or squirrel tattoos.
It's a final, slightly judgmental categorization of amber as inexplicably odd, but crucially, Susan is surrendering the argument. She's acknowledging Ted's right to his own strange taste.
It's her closing statement on amber's suitability, accepting she can't change his mind.
What a journey, just in that short exchange. From pointed questions to soft rejection, defensive maneuvering, and finally, resigned acceptance of difference, all navigated with idioms.
Right, so the core tension about Amber herself seems resolved, or at least parked.
Yeah, Susan used no accounting for taste as her final word on that specific issue.
Now the conversation shifts, doesn't it? It moves to the immediate future, the evening itself.
Exactly. It becomes about managing emotions, Susan's worry, and Ted's anticipation of fun.
Ted, maybe still feeling a bit defensive after the cup of tea commentary, responds to his mom's general air of concern.
How does he do that?
With a simple, maybe slightly dismissive command. Take it easy, Mom.
Take it easy. Another fundamental phrase. What's the core instruction here?
Relax, don't worry, calm down.
Fine.
It's used to de-escalate heightened emotions.
Ted is essentially telling Susan to stop stressing, start projecting her anxieties onto his evening plans.
And it's versatile, this phrase. The examples show it tackles different kinds of emotional states.
Like what?
Example 1 addresses panic or minor stress. You lost your keys. Take it easy, I'm sure you'll find them.
Okay. Soothing anxiety in a relatively small, contained situation.
But example 2 deals with something much bigger. Anger and potential conflict.
Stop yelling and take it easy. I'm sure there's a good explanation for why Joe borrowed your car without asking first.
Whoa, okay, borrowing a car without asking? That's infuriating.
Highly stressful, yeah. But the phrase, take it easy, is still the tool used to try and halt the explosion of anger and bring things back to a calmer state.
So Ted uses it because Susan's whole vibe, from the moment she mentioned the nose ring, has been one of worry and perhaps disapproval. He's telling her just chill out.
It's his attempt to shut down her parental worrying.
Susan then offers a seemingly neutral parting comment.
What does she say?
Have a good time.
Okay, standard, polite, to have a good time, meaning simply to enjoy oneself.
But this sets up a really interesting contrast with Ted's response.
Because Ted doesn't just echo, have a good time, he needs to ramp up the enthusiasm again, maybe push back one last time against her worry.
Exactly. He replies, don't worry, we'll have a blast.
And there's the contrast, have a good time versus have a blast. This is about intensity and register.
Right. Have a blast isn't just enjoyment, it's intense enjoyment. And it's slang, isn't it?
Definitely slang. It implies a very high level of fun, excitement, energy, maybe even a bit wild or out of control.
Let's compare the examples the sources give for each phrase. First, Susan's choice. Have a good time.
The examples are nice, pleasant experiences. Marcy and Jose had a good time salsa dancing at Babalu.
Fun, enjoyable, socially acceptable.
Or Nora and Jake had a good time on their honeymoon in Maui.
Lovely, romantic, memorable, but probably implies relaxation alongside enjoyment. Controlled fun.
Now, Ted's choice. Have a blast. Look at these examples.
Example 1. Last summer, Nicole had a blast backpacking through Europe with some friends.
That suggests adventure, high energy, maybe some unpredictability, big experiences.
Definitely a higher intensity than salsa dancing or a honeymoon.
And example 2 pushes it even further.
Heather spent her spring break in Fort Lauderdale with millions of other college students. She had a blast.
Okay, spring break in Fort Lauderdale. That context immediately suggests wild parties, crowds, noise, maybe excessive behavior, maximum intensity fun.
So when Ted says we'll have a blast, he's deliberately choosing this High energy, potentially chaotic slang.
He's promising an incredibly fun, exciting night, which, as we're about to find out, is precisely Susan's fear.
Yes, this leads directly to the final line of the dialogue, the punchline that reveals Susan's true, unfiltered thoughts.
Ted leaves, the door closes perhaps.
And Susan mutters something
How?
under her breath. She mutters under her breath, "That's what I'm afraid of."
And there's our final idiom, under one's breath. What does it mean literally?
Quietly, in a whisper, almost inaudibly.
But the function of this phrase is what's really important for understanding conversation. Why do people speak under their breath?
To express something they don't want the other person or perhaps anyone else nearby to actually hear clearly. It's for hidden thoughts, private feelings, often negative ones.
It's the sound of internal monologue leaking out, but kept quiet enough to maintain deniability or avoid confrontation. The whisper of true feelings.
So Susan is confirming privately that Ted's promise of having a blast isn't reassuring. It's terrifying.
Her fear isn't that he'll be bored, it's that he'll have too much fun. The wild, uncontrolled kind suggested by have a blast, especially with Amber, the girl who isn't her cup of tea.
The potential consequences of that kind of blast are what worry her.
And the examples for under one's breath show exactly this function of hidden, often critical commentary.
Example 1.
Amber is strange, muttered Nicole under her breath as Ted was leaving the room.
Classic private judgment. Said quietly after the target is out of earshot, or nearly so.
She wouldn't say it to Ted, but she thinks it. And example 2 shows hidden resentment.
Mike agreed to take out the garbage, saying under his breath, "I always do the dirty work around here."
He complies outwardly, but expresses his true negative feelings privately, resentfully, under his breath.
So Susan does the same. She performs the polite, "have a good time," but her real anxiety surfaces in that muttered final line.
It perfectly demonstrates how this idiom signals the gap between outward social performance and inner reality. If you catch what someone says under their breath, you might be hewing the truth.
Okay, wow, we've really dissected that short conversation. 12 idioms unpacked through Ted and Susan's little domestic drama.
It shows how much meaning can be packed into everyday phrases.
Let's do a quick recap, maybe group them by theme, just to solidify things for listeners, make sure we can recall and apply them.
Good idea. Let's start with, say, uncertainty and timing. That was big at the start.
Right. Ted's plans were up in the air.
Meaning uncertain, undecided, could be picnic weather, could be Russian visas.
And his visit itself was framed as just dropping by.
A short, casual, maybe unannounced visit. Convenience over commitment.
Okay, theme 2. Socializing and idleness. We had that important distinction.
Yes. Ted actively avoided having to hang around the house.
Which means lingering idly, maybe unwantedly, like being stuck at the airport. Negative connotation.
Whereas he wanted to hang out with Amber.
Meaning relaxed, intentional, casual time spent together, like friends at the mall. Positive.
Good. Next theme. Emotion and attitude. Lots here.
Ted's dad set the mood by being down in the dumps.
Feeling sad or depressed, ranging from deep grief, losing a pet, to minor blues. Rainy day.
Ted tried to manage Susan's mood by telling her to take it easy.
The command to relax, don't worry. Useful for soothing panic, lost keys, or calming anger, borrowed car.
Susan used that defensive preface, "Don't take this the wrong way."
The signal that potentially offensive criticism is coming, like commenting on a haircut, pleading for a charitable interpretation.
And her true feeling, her anxiety about the blast, was only revealed when she spoke under her breath.
The idiom for quiet, private thoughts or criticisms not meant to be clearly heard.
Okay, final theme. Liking, disliking, and preference. The core of the conflict.
Ted's feeling was clear. He was crazy about Amber.
Intense liking, strong affection or interest, whether for a person or a passion like golf. Susan's counter was the polite dismissal. Amber was not exactly her cup of tea.
The key phrase for expressing mild dislike or lack of preference almost always used negatively.
And Susan's final surrender in the taste argument. There's no accounting for taste.
The acknowledgement that individual preferences are subjective, inexplicable, like sugar on spaghetti or squirrel tattoos, and therefore undebatable.
And related to enjoyment, we had the contrast between have a good time,
General, pleasant enjoyment like a honeymoon or dancing.
and Ted's promise to have a blast.
Intense, high-energy slang term for maximum fun like spring break. Perfect. That covers all 12.
That really helps lock them in, see them grouped like that. But you mentioned something else, a structural note from the sources, about a phrase that wasn't one of these 12 idioms.
Ah, yes. Good catch. In section 2, when Ted was minimizing the seriousness of the relationship, he said, "We're not about to get married."
Right. About to.
And the source material specifically footnoted or mentioned that the phrase "about to," meaning something is imminent or going to happen very soon.
Was covered in a previous lesson. It wasn't defined here.
Exactly. Now, "about to" isn't really an idiom in the same class as cup of tea. It's more of a standard grammatical structure for expressing the near future.
So why is its mention significant here in a lesson focused on idioms?
Because it subtly highlights the interconnectedness of language learning. Mastering idioms is great, essential even, but it builds upon a foundation of understanding basic grammar and structure.
You mean you can't really grasp the nuances of idioms if you don't have the fundamentals down?
Precisely. If a learner is struggling with how English expresses imminent action using "about to," they'll likely struggle even more with the less logical, more culturally specific meanings of idioms.
It shows fluency isn't just memorizing cool phrases.
No, it's an integrated system. The sources referencing that past lesson on "about to" is like a quiet reminder. Don't forget the basics. They support the fancy stuff. You need both the grammatical framework and the idiomatic shortcuts for true fluency.
That makes a lot of sense. It's all layered.
It really is.
Okay, so let's bring this all back home to the listener. We've gone deep into these 12 phrases, the context, even the teaching structure. What's the big takeaway? Why does grappling with these, frankly, weird expressions matter so much?
It comes down to efficiency and social intelligence, really. Idioms are conversational power tools.
How so?
They let you convey complex ideas, emotions, judgments, and social situations incredibly quickly. Think about Susan again.
Okay.
With just 3 key phrases, "not my cup of tea," "don't take this the wrong way," "no accounting for taste," she delivered a multi-layered message.
A message of, I disapprove based on my standards, but I know I can't change your weird preferences, and please don't be mad at me for saying so.
Exactly. Try saying that literally. It's awkward, lengthy, and potentially far more confrontational.
The idioms bundle all that nuance, the disapproval, the defensiveness, the resignation, into neat little packages.
Takes 5 seconds instead of a minute. It allows for subtlety, for hinting, for managing social friction without direct collision.
So mastering idioms isn't just about sounding more native.
No, it's about understanding the actual communication happening beneath the surface words. It's about decoding the social signals and emotional subtext that drives so much of human interaction. You have to get past thinking about a literal cup or tea to see the universal human act of polite disagreement it represents. #tag outro.
Right. So wrapping up this deep dive, what we've seen through Ted and Susan is how these seemingly illogical phrases, these idioms, are actually incredibly efficient.
They're linguistic shortcuts, yeah. They package up complex feelings and social dynamics, disapproval, worry, enthusiasm, uncertainty very neatly.
They let us navigate tricky situations with a kind of coded language.
And understanding that code is key to moving from just knowing English words to truly understanding English speakers. It reveals the hidden layers.
So here's a final thought for you, the listener, to take away and maybe observe in your own conversations this week.
Okay.
We spent time looking at Susan's tactics, how she used "not my cup of tea" for soft rejection, how she used "don't take this the wrong way" as a shield.
And especially how her real fear only came out under her breath. That moment of private truth.
Exactly. Now think about that.
Yeah.
How often do you notice yourself or people around you relying on similar strategies?
Using these kinds of phrases to manage difficult conversations.
Yeah, using a phrase like "not my cup of tea" to avoid saying "I don't like it," or maybe catching someone muttering something critical under their breath after agreeing to something outwardly.
It's fascinating, isn't it? These idioms aren't just vocabulary items, they're fundamental tools for social interaction. They help us maintain harmony, often by allowing us to communicate indirectly.
It makes you wonder just how much of our daily communication relies on this ability to say one thing while gently signaling something else entirely.
A huge amount, I suspect. The language we use to avoid conflict might be just as important as the language we use to express ourselves directly.
Sometimes what's not said directly, or what's said under the breath, tells the real story.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the language of experience.
We hope you have a blast putting these idioms into practice.
Or at least have a good time thinking about them. And remember,
If things get tense, just tell everyone to take it easy.
see you next time.